Germany is entering a new era of leadership after 16 years under the helm of center-right Chancellor Angela Merkel. The country will soon be run by a center-left government led by Olaf Scholz, a social democrat. Scholz will head a three-party coalition, joining forces with progressive Greens and pro-business Free Democrats. He's expected to officially be sworn in as chancellor in December. CBS News reporter Anna Noryskiewicz joins me now from Berlin. Anna, during the campaign, remind me, Olaf Scholz, he's not in Merkel's party, but he used his relationship to be close to her and portray himself as kind of the heir apparent. Didn't he do something funny with the pronouns where he used a female pronoun to say chancellor so that people were really getting this message like, I am the next Angela? Can you explain this? I'm not explaining this well. You're brilliant. Help me out here.
So what you said is right. So we can really expect actually not much of a difference. He really used also his very friendly relationship with Chancellor Merkel for his own benefits. And right now in the German population is really, Germans think, okay, actually, even though he's the candidate from the rival party, from the Social Democrats, we're probably not going to get much different because he is a very, not very charismatic character, very calm, very analytical. So to say, you can say that the majority of Germans feel that, okay, we are softly spoken in, a pair of safe hands with him. It's a safe haven. He will lead the country, maybe not much different than Angela Merkel. So he really, especially also in the last phase of the campaign, it was quite visible that he is really using also some characteristics that Angela Merkel is known for and stands for his persona.
Isn't there a hand gesture he was doing too? She does when she stands in pictures. She did this triangle thing with her hands. Wasn't he doing that as well?
I don't know if
it's not subtle.
I don't know if you see the framing. Yeah, I'm not
you can
sure
bring it up a little bit.
Yeah. It's basically, what do you do with your hands? We know this as reporters as well. Where do we put our hands when we're reporting? So that's actually quite a comfortable. I use that too. Quite a comfortable position to keep your hands. So yeah, it's important to say is really that we can't expect so much, different. I mean, even though he is from the Social Democrats, he is from Merkel's rival party, but he's very experienced in federal politics, but also state politics in his home city of Hamburg. He used to be back in the days, back as a teenager, a very diehard leftist, and now he's a proper centrist. So even though he's from the rather left-wing Social Democrats, you can consider him as a centrist chancellor. But
this is what Germans were looking for, right? I mean, so often in American elections we hear, change. We want something new. We want to rework the system. We want to go back to the old system. Germans, for the most part, liked Chancellor Merkel and wanted that steady hand to continue. Now, can you explain how this three-party coalition formed and how this will work with this new government?
Okay, so this is actually the first time in history that there's a three-party coalition in Germany. So in order to form a majority, in order to form a government, you need to have the majority in parliament. So in the election in September, it was a very narrow win from the Social Democrats. And in order to form a government, they needed to team up with another party, like they now did after long coalition talks. Well, 2 months actually. We and journalists were expecting this to go on for much longer, and now, right in for Thanksgiving, Germany has a new government. So the Social Democrats, where Olaf Scholz is the leader of, and soon the chancellor, he teamed up with, as you said, the business-friendly FDP. It's the liberal business-friendly party, and together with the Green Party. And in the beginning, it seemed quite unrealistic, especially in topics like taxation. Putting a business-friendly party together with the Social Democrats, who have very strong taxation rules and taxation laws and very strong ideas on high taxation, we thought, okay, this is going to be, it looks like it's really tough negotiations. And then, of course, teaming up with the Green Party, which has, on top of the agenda, of course, climate. So now there's this three-way coalition. Yesterday, for the first time, they addressed to the public and said it's done. The deal is done. And we will see what will happen in the next few weeks.
Do we know what this coalition, what kind of governments, what this means for the relationship between Germany and the U.S.?
So actually, there's not too much of a change that we can expect. The biggest change really in German transatlantic or German-U.S. relation was the change from President Trump to President Biden. And this is where really transatlantic relations became a bigger topic in Germany, again, saying that, okay, now where Biden became the new U.S. president, also transatlantic relations with the U.S. will improve. So what we can expect is stability. We can expect that Olaf Scholz's government will, just like Angela Merkel's government, always try to work closely with the U.S., especially when it comes to China. So what we can expect is definitely a tougher language on China, which is definitely coming from the Greens and the FDP. So they are the liberal FDP. They share a common opinion on how to deal with China, and this is what they're aiming to do together, hand in hand with the U.S.
I was saying we're hearing some consistently tough talk carried over between administrations, with the new administration, with the Biden administration, on China as well. So maybe that'll fold together pretty well. Before we let you go, you were recently at the border between Poland and Belarus, where this migration crisis is happening. What's the latest, and what do we know about? Is that getting resolved at all?
So it took quite a long time. It was getting more and more serious, more and more extremes as temperatures are dropping. Now, last week, it actually marked a sort of de-escalation between Belarus and the EU when migrants were put from the camp at the border, which is outside, to a warehouse, like makeshift camp inside, where at least it's warm and it's safe, and people can sleep properly, or at least have mattresses and not sleeping out in the cold. Right now, the EU is still hoping that countries like Iraq will, try and get people back voluntarily who want to say, okay, we're giving up our European dream and we're giving up the dream of actually making it through the Polish or through the Belarusian-Polish border, and we're flying back to Iraq. I think now there's around 800 people who voluntarily decided to go back. And also the Green Party, together with the Social Democrats and the FDP, have a very strong opinion on that sanctions against Belarus should continue, and that this is definitely something that Belarusian leader Lukashenko is to blame for. But most importantly, when it comes to the people who were stranded at the border for way too long, freezing out in the cold, sleeping in the cold, the majority of them is now at least in a warm space.
That's some good news in what is still a very complicated situation. Thank you for covering it, Anna. Thank you, and have a good rest of your day.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you so much.